Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is October 19th, 2020, and we're going to call this meeting order at 7:30. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Zielinski?
Here.
Trustee Juarez? Here. Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Neves-Esparza? Here. Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We'll start off with the officers' reports, starting with mine. Today, actually, received a couple of checks from different entities. First one, we actually got $42,000 back from the foreign fire tax. The village accountant, staff accountant, is applying that to the correct account and sharing it with the fire chief. He's out of town right now, so we'll speak with him when he gets back to town. Also, we got a $10,000 IPRF stimulus grant check. IPRF is the Illinois Public Risk Fund. That's our workman comp carrier. So we thank them for that. I also got the deed that just came in today for the property that we leveled at 3725 West 120th Street. This was a house that was not, what's the correct word?
Habitable.
Uninhabitable, thank you. It's always a tongue twister. Uninhabitable. And I felt horrible for those neighbors for a while. Unfortunately, the gentleman who lived there had passed away. He had some decent amenities on that house, too. He had solar panels and whatnot, but we took that down over a year or so ago, and we contested anyone from the family that wanted to ask for rights to their house, and they didn't ask for rights to the house, so we were awarded the deed to that property. So I plan to schedule an appraisal on it, and I'll bring it back to the board as soon as we have such, and we'll discuss a sale price on it. Our concern certainly is recouping our cost that we put out for demolition and legal and so forth. So we'll get a list together of what's owed back to the village, and make that property available for sale. Somebody would like to build a nice house over there. It's a beautiful neighborhood, and we hope to have that go smoothly. And that's all I have for this evening. Clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. The approval of the September 2020 FOIA report. There were 25 requests last month, and the approval of the proposed 2021 Village Board and Committee meeting schedule. And that is all, Mayor Ryan.
All right, thank you. Attorney's report, we have Mike Kankar with us.
No report, sir.
All right, Mike, no report. Engineer was excused this evening. Public forum, did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? Come on up, sir.
How are you today? Okay. My name is Michael Joniak, and I live in Alsip. I'm in a GD program. And the last time I was talking about the situation at Walgreens, it's the emission testing Monday testing center with the people with their cars, and they get the cars running, idling so much, and then it comes into the Walgreens store. And I was recouping on getting volunteer service for those signs that if you're idling your car more than 15 seconds, you're wasting gas. You can idle your car and do it 100 feet away. The part where the people like the drug ladies, the pharmaceutical people, they stand there, and then the fumes come in there. And I see how they act, the pharmaceutical people. They get a little bit apprehensive, and then, like, sometimes I'm like tripping over each other in there. So for that point, if people are going to idle the car, it's wintertime and everything, you're going to have a ventilation system there to pull the emissions up so it doesn't go into the pharmaceutical, into Walgreens there. That would make it people, because the people are scared, they want to shut their cars off in the wintertime. And now that the people, okay, I was over there at Walgreens, it's not just one person smoking, like 40 people smoking all at one time. And that's really, really bad. People that don't smoke, people that are allergic to cigarettes, kids coming in there with their parents. And I don't want to see too many women that are pregnant, they probably stay home. They may go to the flea market. So that I'm doing a community service. I can find out where you guys are going to have community service. And I was a little ashamed to call because I think you were going to do some service on Pulaski Street. So I got to pay attention. I don't want to call and ask because taking up for your time. Now, I'll do community service for people don't smoke cigarettes at the Walgreens area there. And if they are, they just kind of go somewhere else, like not to smoke on the premises. That will help encourage a better atmosphere there. Because when you got 40 people, they think you can do what they want. And now, okay, I'm jumping over to the second topic here about our city and our township with the garbage and trash. Now, in areas where the recycling garbage cans with the solar thing, there's no garbage everywhere. It's really clean. Over here, we don't have that. So people come up with an excuse like, I'll just throw my garbage anywhere. And it piles up, and the crime is not having a garbage can. There's a garbage can. And then the culprit is us throwing it everywhere. And then the wind is the accessory. The wind takes this stuff. Now, this wind is going really fast sometimes, different directions. And if we were to check what this garbage is doing, it may have some part cause fatalities, cause like something the sewers to get clogged up. And so that's kind of like really serious stuff. Now, with pollution, okay. Now, I'll probably go into this next week, not this week. In the area I said about it's called aluminum die casting center, that it's some like a candle wax smell. Now, that kicks up and it shows directions. Now, I was talking to a woman, I told her that on 127th Street in Cicero, I get really bad chest pains over there. And when I told her that, she keyed me into this company where it's coming from, like really, really bad. It's on Pulaski Street, past 127th Street. Now, I don't know the name of that place, but I'm going to find out because I don't see any name over there. And I can bring these couple of these women and ask them to come in to testify and say that they know that this stuff is making their eyes burn, their nose burn, and their breathing problems. Because of me just saying that. So I ain't going to do this now. So going back to, like, we had Sierra Club, Greenpeace, maybe I have to call Greenpeace or Sierra Club and get permission for you guys to do that. Now, for community service, if you guys don't have anything, I got to clean windows, start doing that. Now, so going back to the Walgreens area, yeah. I'll do community service to get that ventilation thing going in there to pull the fumes out by the pharmaceuticals where people are parking their cars and idling there. And for the people that are smoking, they shouldn't be smoking. They could calm their habits down, go home, and don't bring their problems to us, to the neighborhood. It'll also have more respect. People feel better about themselves, and if people feel at ease, they won't be so apprehensive. Because you got air pollution, and you got light pollution, then you got the sewer pollution, then you got smoke pollution. It gets really, really scary when all those kick in together. So I'll do community service. I say my part. I'll do my part, and help Alsip be a better neighborhood. And so, board members, I hope you guys consider what I'm saying here, because if this is at the flea market, I got to go over there and get talk with the men and tell them that no smoking facility, but I have to be there early. I got to get black shades for my window, because when that light hits me, I'm a little photosensitive, and I don't want to get out of my bed. So first thing is get the black shades, and then when I wake up, I'm good. I'll be able to get done to the flea market.
No, I wanted to catch you, Mike, because I always wanted to give you at least 5 minutes to speak. But first things first, and I appreciate you were talking to us before about idling, and I'll be honest, I'm not totally versed in the idling laws.
Idling.
So, Becky, if we could, can we get some information together? We could talk about that next week at committee on what the idling laws are. And we can look into that, Michael. It doesn't hurt, and I appreciate you sharing your concerns with us. I want to chip away at one of these at a time, but certainly let me work on the one with idling. Like you said, if it seems like there's excessive idling, we can address that, especially like at a Walgreens store like that then too. And it won't just be one store. We never target one enterprise, but if it's good for the village, I don't have anything in front of me right now, but let me do a little study on the thing, and I can speak to it next week, okay?
Now, I will say another thing before I go. At the Walmart over there, the people, there's a lot of people there, and they changed their ways over there about their idling and their cigarette smoking, kids and people feel a lot better about themselves, because when they come in, they won't get hit with all that at one time. So for that area, I might have to go to a Crestwood meeting. But I'll do community service to get Walmart to be like a no smoking area, and people idle their cars far away.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us tonight, too, Mike. Okay.
Could you sign in, please? Thank you.
Anybody else wish to address the board? Nobody? All right. Thanks, Mr. Joniak. I appreciate it. Thank you. Standing committee reports then. We'll go to Finance and IT. Trustee McGlohan.
First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated October 9th, 2020, totaling $434,859.50. Next, I have a request for approval of accounts payable dated October 19th, 2020. From the recap, General Fund, $482,665.66. Road and Bridge, $14,192.60. Pulaski TIF, $6,140. Water and Sewer, $20,765.46. Heritage, $24,509.70, for a grand total all funds of $548,273.42. And finally, I have a request for approval to have Odelson and Stirk Law Firm intervene on behalf of the village regarding 4 of 5 PTAB property tax appeals. Which one of the 5 are we not referring?
It was suggested that
Did
You
you
know-
see that?
I did. Thank you. Yeah. It was suggested that there's one for, it's PISEC is the name, but they were saying that the property at 5240 West 123rd Place, I know this is a trucking place back there, that it was a $7,900 discrepancy, and they're saying the low tax dollars at stake. I had to send an email, so thank you, Clark.
You're welcome.
Low tax dollars at stake, and last year of triennial, and it was they're saying the low tax dollars are at stake, and last year of the triennial, so I don't think this is interventions necessary, is what Liz Shine is the attorney that she oversees those cases for us all the time, and because Odelson and Stirk is working on behalf of the school districts and so forth, and we actually share the cost with them, so rather than have multiple attorneys involved, she's handling as a whole.
No, there was no designation.
Yeah.
I mean, and all 5 are included in the packet, so I wasn't sure which one.
Yeah, so
Of
the
the
other
five
ones,
So
We're
the
excluding.
property, the 5240 is the property that they're not going to intervene in?
challenge, right.
Okay.
And so one is Griffith Foods, the second would be JAS Trucking, the third would be the Shell Gas Station at 117th and Pulaski, and the fourth is the First Midwest Bank at 119th and Pulaski.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have under finance, Mayor.
Yeah, they had a lot of first names on it, so I kind of tweaked the email going back to her and stuff then too, so thank you very much. Next, we have the Fire Committee, Trustee Murphy.
I have approval of the Fire Department September 2020 monthly activity report based on the National Fire Incident Reporting System. I have approval of the Fire Department September 2020 Fire Prevention Bureau monthly activity report. And I'll speak on behalf of Chief Szynski for the open house that happened on the 10th. The Alsip Fire Department had approximately 100 cars come through the drive-through for the open house on the 10th. The fire department would also like to thank the following businesses for their support and donations for the bags. They include Isaiah Bakery, Doubletree Hotel, Home Depot, ServPro, Superior Ambulance, Taylor Candy, Jewel Food Store, and the local 281 of the sprinkler fitters. We'd also like to thank Mike Frater of Public Works for the use of the barricades, the CERT team for providing 3 people for directing traffic, and Mark from Southland TV for taking pictures and doing the filming. We'd also like to thank Trustee Murphy for helping put together the bags on the day, and both Trustee Juarez and Clerk Petzel for volunteering if we needed it. And number 4, in regards to the new firefighter, candidate 1 has passed on at the last minute after processing was complete. We will be beginning processing candidate number 2 on Tuesday. And that's all I have, sir.
All right. All right, thank you. Police and Traffic Safety, Trustee Dalzell.
The approval of the Police Department September 2020 monthly activity report. And just as a reminder, the Halloween hours are set for 1 p. to 6 p.m. That's all I have, Mayor.
I want to stand corrected in that, too. I had a meeting with Chief Miller, Police Chief Miller, after last week's meeting, and as he was suggesting at the time, I agreed with him, but we actually have that in ordinance form, too. So we can, should next year, if we want to change that ordinance, we can certainly discuss it, but we actually have that in ordinance form from years past that said during the week, Halloween hours were during a certain time, and if it ever fell on a weekend, it was from 1 till 6. So it came off like a suggestion, but there's actually an ordinance that stands with that and stuff.
Normally it's 3 to 8, I think, when it was during the week.
Right. Next was the Public Work and Boat Launch, Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval of the Public Works September 2020 monthly activity report and an approval for the board to declare the following village items as surplus and have them placed in the Southwest Conference of Mayors Joint Municipal Public Auction on November 7, 2020. 1 2005 Ford Explorer, 1 1986 Ford Backhoe, 1 2004 Hustler Mower, 1 2008 Dodge Charger. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Mike, I saw that the Charger was missing. You guys have that down in your yard right now?
Down by us. I didn't think it was going to make it back up to the parking lot.
I went to move it one day, and actually, that was the car I used to drive, and it stalled in the parking lot, like the transmission didn't, exactly,
Oh, wow.
so, yeah, but my foot looked like it was going to go through the floor, too, so it was, it needs a little bit of work. It's a great car, but it needs a little bit of work and stuff. It's rusting out. Could you...
Great car if you're Fred Flintstone.
Exactly, you gotta put your foot down. So,
Oh, yeah, Halloween.
yeah, so, Mike, if you would, could you have somebody just make sure, go through it real good, make sure there's nothing in that thing, that's it. Good, okay. Next, sewer and water report, Trustee Navas-Barza.
Thank you. I have the approval of an addendum for the improvement of Route 83 at Tinley Creek Water Main Replacement, where this agreement extends the term of construction to start within 6 years of its original agreement with the village and IDOT signed in 2018. I also have the approval of a $7,500 change order authorizing the painting contractor to reposition the lettering and design on the south water tower currently being painted. And this south water tower is the tower on 129th and Costner. And I think the commissioner had a diagram that he had. You shared it with everyone? Okay. And it would be facing then the lettering on Costner, north side of the tower.
So I certainly, this is a change order to an existing contract, which is why I didn't want to make this approval on my own. I wanted board support for that. Hey, Danny, can I ask you to speak to the board on this? This is $7,500, Dan, basically to rearrange the lettering on the water tower, right?
Correct. So the last painting of the tower included the lettering facing both tollway directions as well as a due east, logo of Alsip facing 129th Street. The southbound tollway and the due east one only have one star in between them, so it looks a little awkward. I simply asked the painting contractor to look into the proposal of relocating it, and he basically said in order to do that, he'd have to re-stencil those areas and, basically come up with that quote of $7,500 to do that re-stenciling. So that's essentially where it stands, and it's up to you guys as to whether or not you want to make that adjustment.
So, Dan, where's the benefit now, though, too? Are you still going to see this on both directions from the tri-state?
Correct. Both tollway directions, you'll continue to see Alsip, but you'll also see it an Alsip logo on the northeast side of the tower, facing closer, more towards Costner than 129th Street.
Okay, so that's the question, board, is whether or not we want to spend $7,500 to reposition the name. Danny, the most important one is the eastbound one, correct? Face 129th Street? You're just moving really one of the, there's 3 Alsip centers, you're moving one of them.
Correct, and also in doing that, we'd be repositioning the number of stars in between each logo.
Exactly, that goes with it, right.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Dan. Next, Building and Health, Trustee Zelinski.
No report this evening.
Human Resource and Insurance, Trustee Murphy.
No report, Mayor.
Special Committee Reports, Economic Development, Trustee Nava Esparza.
Just the census, it's done. No more changing dates, it was kind of confusing at times to catch up with deadlines, extensions, and so forth, but it ended officially October 15th. So thank you, everyone, for participating in our census efforts.
What was our final?
Last I checked was 75.5%. But I believe those that had the option to complete a mail, like a paper form, could send the paper form as long as it was postmarked by October 15th. So I have to still dig and see when, I guess, they'll accept the last batch of that. So hopefully we have a little bit more of an increase. But we're at 75.5%, and then in 2010 we're at 72.4%.
So I exchanged just some emails right before the start of the meeting with Matt Weil with Firewater Barbecue and Brew, and we have something on the agenda for the Planning and Zoning Commission this coming Wednesday night for them to approve a resolution to consolidate 3 pins into one. We're basically establishing a new re-subdivision of their property that's over there, and I'm going to bring it back to the board maybe after the committee meeting for approval next Monday night. But their Attorney Joe Kankar exchanged emails with them as well tonight, and they're very anxious to fund the construction account as soon as possible. They want to start getting shovels in the ground to start building this restaurant and everything yet too. So we're certainly going to help them as much as we can to make that happen. Next, we have the Village Properties. Trustee McLaurin.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Ordinance and legislation, Trustee Zelinski.
Yes, I have an approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, fixing the compensation for the office of Village President for the term of office commencing in May of 2021. That's all I have tonight.
All right. Planning and zoning and licenses, Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval of a list of licenses dated September 28th, 2020 through October 9th, 2020. And number 2, a notice of case number 2020-10-R-200 to combine 3 pins to 1 for the property located at 11638 through 11658 South Pulaski Road, Alsip, Illinois. There will be a planning and zoning hearing on Wednesday, October 21st, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. That's all, Mayor.
All right. Next, does anyone have any presentations, petitions, or communications?
Just a reminder that early voting did begin today in surrounding communities. You can go to Oak Lawn, you can go to Payless, Crestwood, or Calumet City are the closest ones, and early voting runs through November 2nd.
Mayor, I had a question related to the meeting minutes. Was that ever resolved in regards to how many were missing or on our website?
I don't have any of that with me right now.
Okay.
But, no, I mean, if you I can follow up with you tomorrow on that and stuff then too. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Whatever. Did anyone wish to remove any items from the consent agenda?
I'd like to remove letter H.
H. All right. Anyone else?
I'd like to remove letter I for a separate vote.
All right. Then can I get a motion to establish a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call number 1 to establish the consent agenda, and summary letter H's in Henry and I's in Indigo have been removed. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaurin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Nava Esparza.
Yes.
Motion carries to establish the consent agenda.
Thank you. Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call number 2 to approve the consent agenda as presented. Letter B is in boys approval of the proposed 2021 Village Board and Committee, letter C is in Charles, approval of a list of payroll dated October 9th, 2020 totaling $434,859.50. Letter D is in David, approval of a list of accounts payable dated October 19th, 2020 totaling $548,273.42. Again, this is roll call number 2 to approve the consent agenda. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Nava Esparza.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
Very good. Then we'll go back to the items that were removed. Letter H, approval of a $7,500 change order authorizing the painting contractor to reposition the lettering and design on the south water tower currently being painted. Now, Trustee McLaurin, did you have a question on that?
No question, just wanted a separate vote. I mean, from my perspective, $7,500 seems like a lot of money just to rearrange some letters. But, I mean, traveling down the tollway, I've never noticed any issues. The Alsip stands out clear. I have had a request from a resident that they'd like us to just rename it A-Town, but
Does that come straight out of the water department's budget, though?
Yes.
This,
Okay.
yeah, this does, yes.
Just making sure. Yeah.
So did I have a motion and a second on that?
I'd make the motion.
Second.
Roll call number 3 to approve letter H is in Henry, approval of a $7,500 change order authorizing the painting contractor to reposition the lettering and design on the south water tower currently being painted. Again, roll call number 3 to approve. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
no.
Trustee Murphy.
No.
Trustee Nava Esparza.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve.
Give me one second, please. I'm just looking something up in our packet here.
I may have a paper copy if you need.
No, I just want to see what we have in our packet. All right, very good. Next, we removed item I from the agenda. This was the approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, fixing the compensation for the office of the village president for a term of office commencing in, it should be, I would guess, in May of 2021. Trustee Zelinski, do you have a question on that?
No, I just wanted to pull for a separate vote.
Mayor, we've got two
I
different
was just going to
iterations of
say
this.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's two different, there's one that is highlighted for the compensation initially starting at $80,000, May 1 of 2022, and then it's highlighted and then it's handwritten down on the bottom at $75,000. And then there's a new one that Trustee Zelinski passed out this evening that shows it should be fixed at $75,000.
The one that was highlighted was my change to the one that I submitted. It probably shouldn't have been on here. The one that I handed out was the submitted one that with the changes.
Okay.
Correct.
This isn't the one that we discussed last week, though, right?
No.
Okay. I mean, it seems like we're back to where we were before, where you had made a comment with regards to some of the changes that were being done. And, I mean, we had discussions of this last week, but now here we are for a vote, and what's being presented isn't what was being tendered for discussion just a week ago.
At last week's meeting, I had made some inquiries about the way things were being done, and according to the mayor, it was, this is how we do things now. We had all decided that anybody could put anything on the agenda at any time, so that's what I did.
And certainly you're able to. But as the trustee pointed out, what you just presented obviously contradicts what was in the packet, and that's what I was double checking here real quick.
It doesn't contradict what was in the packet. It shouldn't.
What you submitted in the packet is different from what you just handed out to the board.
No, both are in the packet.
There's two in the packet.
The one is, when we put things in the packet, we include the emails or whatever correspondence we are given to put something in the agenda, and then also any attachments.
So how is it that what was discussed and proposed prior has been modified or removed? Why isn't that one, too, included in this if we're going to continue discussion and debate?
Apparently, nobody put it on the agenda.
It was a carryover. I don't understand how things have to get put back onto the agenda when we sit there, we motion to table for discussion, we have the discussion, and then magically, mystically, things go missing and are replaced.
That's actually what happened last week as well, because we had tabled the second discussion to,
We had postponed.
postponed to next week, which was last week, and there was nothing on the agenda for last week.
But you can have a discussion about anything during committee.
Sure.
Here we are, board, to vote things that we had discussions about during committee less than 7 days ago.
So 2 weeks ago, at our last board meeting, we had an ordinance that hasn't been approved yet that was postponed until last week's committee discussion. The board had a discussion last week based on an ordinance, and then when this agenda was put together, you included a second ordinance that, I see it now, that was replicated. It was, in other words, I saw the first ordinance that we were referring to, but then you have a second ordinance saying almost the same thing, but you changed the compensation on your agenda. So how does the board, you put this action on, or how do you, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to do?
Well, same thing I was saying for the last 2 weeks. I do believe that the position of mayor should get some kind of additional compensation in the future. That's why I thought that it would be okay to go along with the 2% or 2.5%, I'm sorry, cost of living raise, which would be commencing in the year following the seating of the next mayor.
But here we are, we're ready to vote on this matter, or the board is, I should say, ready to vote on this matter, and you didn't even have a conversation about this. We just handed this to everybody just at the start of the meeting.
Pretty much the same way it was handled 2 weeks ago.
We've been talking about this for well over a month or so.
We talked about a couple of different ones for the last month or so.
But we didn't talk about this.
No, and while we had
Actually, I
discussion-
did, but,
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, no, I'm just correcting the mayor. Actually, I did talk about this particular one, but I just put it on the agenda last week for tonight's meeting, so.
So in a situation like this, where, I mean, if all 6 trustees showed up with an ordinance tonight, it really makes the conversation look convoluted. Which ordinance are we going to, which hand are you playing? Which ordinance are you going to work with? And that's what this board now has to decide is, you had a discussion, or I should say the board had a discussion for the last few weeks, and it was ready for, it was supposed to be discussed or voted upon 2 weeks ago at a board meeting. It was postponed to committee, as I said, and here we get to look at it again, and now there's a new iteration here then, too, so. we have to make a decision which ordinance we plan to vote on. And now when here it's coming to a vote, and two trustees pointed out that they're not familiar with what you just handed them, and certainly, what was your thought? What did you think we were voting on?
I just put this on the agenda for a vote tonight, that's all. If there was one that was supposed to be postponed and put on the agenda and wasn't, I wasn't aware of that.
Well, obviously, it's right next to the original ordinance that we discussed is, and I apologize not seeing the one you gave that was behind it here, or below it, and the way we look at these on a computer screen. So you have your ordinance right behind the one that the board discussed last week. So when they're going to call for a vote right now, at the end of the vote, which one are they voting on?
Well, I guess we could put them up for separate votes, I guess.
But you're not having that conversation. It looks as though the board is being positioned to take a vote on something, and that at the end, which one are we identifying with? I'm going to say this again.
For conversation at the next committee meeting. That's what you'd like to do?
Isn't that what we did 2 weeks ago?
On the last ordinance, yes.
And then when we had the discussion, very little, if anything, was made about it.
I was actually disappointed last week that even the title wasn't read into the minutes, but the clerk was good enough to make everybody copies last week, and the copy that we received was the original conversation that we had from the board meeting. And now, again, like I said, you handed something out, you put it into a packet without discussion, and I think it's really unfair to the board to be voting on something that, obviously, the two of your trustees just noticed a flaw in what you thought you were voting on. So I'm just going to speak for myself. I didn't see the second ordinance that was on here, but these ordinances almost mirror each other with the exception of the with the salary that's on there then too.
And then the date of approval was also updated for today's date.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously that would have to be done because of it
Correct.
being postponed 2 weeks ago. So, let's put it this way. In a situation like this, I guess it would be fair to say that who would like to make a motion on which ordinance? Would that, Attorney Kankar?
So everyone knows what they're voting on. There's various versions flying around.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike, I got to ask you to go into the mic. It won't pick you up that far away.
Yeah, I guess as long as you identify, for the record in the minutes, which version that you're voting on.
Right.
I don't think that's a problem. In fact, there's only one. I mean, the only difference is that the Section 1 is like, just based upon this conversation, the one that you were talking about previously, or the last version of that, was $75,000, and then 2.5% bumps after that. And the one that
presented tonight, right?
is that I wasn't here last time.
I'm sorry, that's what was distributed tonight. The first draft was an $80,000 salary with a 2.5% 2.5% annual increase.
Okay, and what was distributed tonight?
At the 75,000.
Yeah. Oh,
Both versions are in the packet.
got it. Okay, no, I did look at the packet. I
Right.
didn't understand why there were two, to be honest with you, but that's either here nor there. So I guess you could just, when you make a motion to approve the ordinance, just note with the motion that you're approving the version that provides for a whatever you want
Which
to
salary,
write.
correct.
That's
Okay.
all.
Both, well, let's put it this way. Now, first off, this is under your committee, so why don't you speak to the ordinance and read into the record what it says?
Would you like me to read the entire ordinance?
Probably, we went this far, you might as well.
Okay.
Both of them mirrors. The only thing that's different is the dollar amount in Section 1. So are you going to propose the salary fixed at 75,000 or at 80,000?
I'd like to propose it to be fixed at 75,000 with the corresponding 2.5% raises annually after.
The question that I would have is that as this is in there, if the proposed gets a second and voted upon, yes, then obviously then that takes it. If it's voted down, is there still an opportunity to propose the other ordinance?
Yes.
Okay. You have your motion.
Okay, I make a motion, propose a motion for the ordinance to keep the salary fixed at $75,000 with an annual thereafter on May 1st. The annual compensation for the office of village president shall be increased by 2.5% over the amount established for the previous pay period. Compensation affixed herein shall be paid in installments in the same manner as other officers, employees of the village.
Is there a second? Then I would say that would die for lack of a second.
Do you have another motion?
I guess the other motion would be similarly commencing on May 17, 2021, the annual compensation for office of village president, inclusive of any portion attributed to the office of local liquor commissioner, shall be fixed at $80,000, commencing on May 1st, 2022, and annually thereafter. On May 1st, the annual compensation of the office of village president shall be increased by 2.5% over the amount established for the previous pay period. Compensation affixed herein shall be paid in installments in the same manner as other officers, employees of the village.
I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second.
Okay, so this will become roll call number 4, since there was no roll call necessary for the previous motion. Again, roll call number 4 to approve the compensation commencing May 17th, 2021, the annual compensation for the office of village president, mayor, inclusive of any portion attributable to the office of local liquor commissioner, shall be fixed at $80,000, commencing on May 1st, 2022, and annually thereafter on May 1st. The annual compensation for the office of village president, mayor, shall be increased by 2.5% over the amount established for the previous pay period. The compensation affixed herein shall be paid in installments in the same manner as other officers/employees of the village. Again, this is roll call number 4 to approve that ordinance. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
No.
Trustee Juarez.
No.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navis Barza.
Yes.
Motion carries to establish. This will be known as ordinance number 2020-10-2.
All right, thank you. Next, did anyone have any unfinished business? No? Any new business? All right, then can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Then we'll adjourn this meeting at 8:15 p.m. And again, thank you for everybody for coming out tonight then, too, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
I'm sorry, you said 8:15 p.m.?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, who had the second for the motion? Was that Trustee Juarez or Trustee Murphy? Thank you.